Quick side note before the video starts and before I fall over. Basically, today's video, I will be with all my co-hosts on the Pluto as a Planet podcast. We'll be running through a history of the channel, and the big giveaway will be at the end of the video. So yeah, stay tuned.
Hello YouTube and people of the interwebs, welcome back to another video. In today's video, we celebrate an incredible, miraculous event. No, the global pandemic has not been cured. No, Trump hasn't been kicked out of presidency.
No, Artie hasn't left the podcast.
In fact, we celebrate the Confused Adipose channel hitting 3,000 subscribers.
Whoa. Thank you everyone who subscribed. It's genuinely amazing to actually have reached 3,000. But yeah, let's carry on with the video.
Right, so basically what we're going to do is I'm going to be interviewing your beloved Joe, along with two other nobodies in the form.
That's us. That's me. That's me. Yes. Thank you. That's me.
Okay, we'll kick off with you then, Joe. So do you remember like your first ever YouTube video?
Yes. So back 2014, like late March, I basically wanted to make a YouTube channel for fun. So I had nothing to upload. I just go to my files and find this terrible, terrible animation video that I'd made when I was like 7. And it was on a horrendous old Windows laptop that was just, yeah, it's awful. And you can see the animation on screen now, but sadly, that was my first video. I would take it down, but it's what started this legacy. So, yeah, that was the first ever video on the channel. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember, because if you didn't know already, me, Joe, and Artie all went to the same primary school, so we've all kind of watched Joe turn into this, I'd like to say, big YouTuber. And
hopefully one day.
I remember everyone like obsessing over Stampy, wasn't it? Yeah, the Minecraft YouTuber.
Yes, Stampy.
Everyone wanted to be like him. Like I remember our good friend Louis buying all of the equipment. I remember that one Christmas he got a good old Apple Mac, Beats microphone and everything like that, just so he can record like 3 Minecraft videos. But you know,
we should point out this was quite a rich and pompous primary school.
Very upper class, very Christian. But
Amen.
I gotta say, I remember like being in your group and what we all called the Sherbet Minor Tears, weren't we?
Yeah, funnily enough, my email still linked to this YouTube account is.
But I remember how Artie wasn't in this group because I remember you made a poster for all of us. I know it was a booklet and he wasn't in it, but most of us have left.
That's quite sad.
Most of us have left now.
Yeah, the only people who were there from the very beginning and are still here today are actually you and Artie. Like, everyone else is gone, because there were, like, Axeman of Evil, I don't want to say any specific names, but there were all these usernames of people, we'd made loads of videos, and that eventually dissipated.
It's a shame, because I always wanted to become a YouTuber like you guys, but I never had the equipment. The only thing I had was an iPad 2, which I wasn't even able to screen record back then. My parents never let me get Minecraft on the PC or anything.
Yeah, Artie, I was going to come to you next. What are your kind of like earliest memories of the channel?
Well, my earliest memories of the channel are Joe boasting that he had a YouTube channel after he posted his first video, me going to watch it that evening, but back then I wasn't allowed to watch YouTube because I was a child.
That is.
Have you ever heard of YouTube Kids?
No, that wasn't a thing.
I suppose it wasn't. Artie, what? Can you remember the first video you were ever in?
Is it the evil Adipose?
I think it is.
Yeah, no, because I've done a meme about Artie.
Yeah, the first video I was ever in. Right, here's a little story.
Artie, go on.
So we were at Joe's house at the break of dawn, and Joe had a teddy bear, and there was an Adipose, and I was like, wouldn't it be funny if I threw this out the window? And then I did, and Joe complained. But then he thought, if I put that in reverse, it will look like it's flying. So then we did a whole host of videos where it looked like it was flying, but it didn't, because on reflection it was bad.
Yeah, I remember looking through those videos when I was making memes of Artie, and there's one literally coming out of Artie's arse, and that's not even a joke. So I've made a meme out of this, and it is like top quality. You know,
I'm sure that's just what everyone wanted to hear.
That is quite incredible.
Yeah, I'll also mention that back in 2014, the original name of the channel was Adipose the Great Chubby. Now, yeah, that was a completely horrendous name. Not saying that the name today is much better, but that name originated from the fact that you have Oz the Great and Powerful, which was a film that came out and I really enjoyed. So you take the Great from that. Then you had Adipose, which was the first episode of Doctor Who I ever properly watched, the Adipose episode. So I thought Adipose the Great, and then back in the day, you needed a surname for YouTube. So I thought, like, really intelligent thinking here, adiposes are fat, so we'll go with chubby. Yeah.
And that is some story. I was going to say, Joe, what brought about the name change?
Basically, I realised it was completely awful, and every time you tried to search it into YouTube, it would just come up with weight loss tips and a bunch of random overweight people working out.
How did the fan series start?
So that would be, well, the first thing ever, actually, Artie, if you want to tell this story, it was the Children in Need special at the end of 2014.
Oh yeah, Children in Need. Wait, no, it was definitely Red Nose Day.
Were you two
Children in Need?
Okay, it was Children in Need. So there we were at Joe's house.
What a vivid description!
In the evening. And we filmed a video. We thought, wouldn't it be cool to make our own Doctor Who? For a TARDIS was a wardrobe.
So
that was a brilliant story.
So you filmed an episode on Red Nose Day in...
It was Children in Need. Basically, what it was...
Were you
was
guys in need? Is that what the whole topic was?
Basically, the idea of that video was inspired by Vote Saxon 07's YouTube channel, because he had... It wasn't a fan series, it was like subscriber specials, where he'd basically just goof around a parody of Doctor Who, and as a child, I absolutely loved watching those. So naturally, we wanted to make our own version, but yeah, it ended up being 1 minute, and there was about 3 times as much footage of bloopers, which you can see on screen now, than there were the actual video.
The first fun series I ever saw from you guys was the Slenderman one, and I thought that was pretty good back in the day, because, you know...
That was the reboot.
No, it wasn't. It was... So the first Chubster Who... Well, we're going into 2015 now.
Oh, God,
it was actually filmed at the end of 2014, but put it in 2015. Artie wasn't actually in the first episode. First episode was basically completely improvised at a Christmas party all the people...
No offence, but that was rubbish.
Yeah, it even got to the point where one of the main characters has to die because he has to go home, and the shot of him dying is him putting his shoes on with his mum waiting by the door for him to leave the house as really terrible CGI missiles fire at him. So, yeah. But the Slenderman one, they're all still in a playlist. Oh my God. I'll link the playlist in the description of this video because it's interesting to go back and cry at what once was. Yeah, parodied Doctor Who. It's not part of the canon fan series that we do now because, thank goodness.
I've got to say, you have moved on a lot.
That was going to be my next question. So, obviously the fan series was rebooted. It's not the same as what it was back in the day. So what kind of brought about that change, and what was the thinking behind that? Yeah,
so it was mainly 2015, 2016, we did Chubster Who. There were 3 series of it, and yeah, if you want to learn more about that, it's all in a book which I've made, and there's going to be a giveaway at the end of the video to celebrate 3,000 subscribers and 6 and a bit years on YouTube, giving away a fan series book, and that's got all the details on Chubster Who. You can watch the original episodes in the description as well. And yeah, we basically realised it was really, really bad, really bad, and we had some form of development in cinematography, cameras, etc. So 2017, the summer, we had come off the back of Series 10 of Doctor Who, which I still hold out to be the best series.
No.
Yes, it is, Artie.
Series
You're
4,
wrong.
Rosie.
Series 4 has the best writing, but Series 10 has the best vibe. Series 10's vibe and companions and characters. It's just such a happy, nostalgic time.
The best vibe? What?
I've got to say, the best my favorite episode is Return of Omega. Like I know the only one that I've actually starred in is the latest one. I like.
We'll come on to the proper
Yeah.
fan series in a sec.
Yeah,
But
I'm skipping.
yeah,
on.
we begun that with, we were originally going to do a reboot of the original. So we did a Slenderman episode we had a Slenderman episode in the original. It was all right. We then went into The Lost, and throughout 2017, 2018, fan series developed. Got to a Christmas special, and this is where we basically started to steal drama students from our school and force them to be in the fan series. And I'd say it's at the end of 2018 where it properly started to become an enjoyably watchable thing.
Very interesting.
The first 2 episodes of The Lost were actually pretty good.
Yeah, the third one is terrible because just no. Yikes. I still hate that. That I'm proud of every fan series episode apart from The Lost Part 3.
I just love the bit in episode 2 when I'm trying to climb a building all cool, but basically it just looks like a fat guy going upstairs. And for some reason not for some reason, I'm using an umbrella as a gun because the week before I'd watched Kingsman, The Secret Service.
What an alpha male move. The one scene that I really do like from The Lost, though, is in the snow, because it had just snowed everywhere, and me and Artie live relatively close. So we met up and filmed this weird Hoth-like scene in mounds of snow, so that was fun.
But then there's the really awkward CGI, abominable snowman.
I stand by this to that day. That is actually solid CGI. It's not horrendous, but
Right.
it's as good as, early Doctor Who.
No.
It is. You go back to the TV movie with Paul McGann, it's the same level of CGI and campness.
If you say so.
This is a question for everybody. What is your favourite video, ever on Joe's channel?
Ooh,
Chubby Bunny.
Why?
Because
Which
it's
one?
awful.
The one where we got a baby to say Sparta as some of his first words.
What?
And that is a true story.
No, the one where you basically ate 2 marshmallows and then said you were going to be sick.
We had 5 in the packet, and we had to make an entertaining video. And yeah, it wasn't entertaining.
It wasn't.
It just
But it
made
was,
you look
it-
like someone who couldn't hold their marshmallows.
That's good to know. Just another thing to be self-conscious about.
Inability to hold marshmallows.
I'd say my favourite video on the channel, probably either the Sontarans Master Plan or Return of Omega, because so much time and effort went into it. I think Sontarans Master Plan is the better video. It's a better, logistically and camera work, etc. But Return of Omega, simply because it had literally everyone I knew who could
It's like
act.
Endgame for
Yeah.
kids.
I've got to say.
Sadly, it didn't have Ben and Alistair. You two.
Oh no, I was kind of in it.
Can I actually
Yeah.
change?
Yeah.
my
On
answer
the
to
screen now,
favourite?
you'll be able to see me with my drone.
Yeah, hiding
In a
corn,
bush.
operating a drone shop. Yeah, what were you going to say, Artie?
I'd like to change my answer for the favourite. I'm pretty sure my favourite is one that has actually been taken down for some reason. I can't remember why. And it was a lost episode of Chubster Who, where Keelan just went absolutely bananas, stabbing Brandon to death.
No, that's still up. That's the second ever Chubster Who episode. Got deleted, but it's a classic. It's still up.
So you put it back up. What was
Yeah,
it
you can
called
see.
again?
You can see that the day death was white.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that is. It's
Quality.
fun. Looking back on those memories, they're terrible quality videos, but the fun is the best takeaway of it. Alistair, what would you say Return of Omega is your favourite video on the channel as well?
Yes, only because you may disagree with this. I thought the visuals of it looked really good, especially in the field. Do you know when we were filming?
Yeah.
I think that would look so good, especially when you're staggering about with the drone, with the actual day itself, because it was such a nice day.
Yeah. Yeah, the thing is, the Return of Omega looks amazing because it was filmed at the peak of summer and there's just sunlight in every shot. Sontaran's Master Plan was a Christmas special, so it's all damp
Yeah.
and cold and dark colours.
I think the next fan series episode that comes out, I think that's going to be the best one we've ever done. Like,
it is, trust me.
Like, two of us now have like top spec iPhones with like
Wait, Joe,
really
have you
good
started
cameras.
making it?
You've now got a gimbal that's like amazing. I
Yeah.
think this.
What were you
one
going to
is gonna
say
be,
as well,
like, the
Artie?
best.
Yeah, I didn't realise you'd started making that episode yet. the next
Yeah,
one.
I'm going to put a preview on screen now of the Jadoon scene, which, funnily enough, everyone in that scene is just me in a different costume stood on the green screen. I mean, no, we actually had a really big cast in a full green screen studio, not clickbait. Yeah.
It's funny you should mention the next episode of the fan series, because that was going to be my next question. It's kind of like, have you got kind of any messages for the fans about where the fan series is going to go next and what to expect and things like that?
In the words of Luke Skywalker from The Last Jedi, this is not going to go the way you think, but hopefully it's not going to be as crap as The Last Jedi was. So, yeah, we're going to have lots of plot twists and turns. And also, I'd like to preface this, we did not copy Series 12, Chibnall copied us. This was planned in advance. Chibnall decided to ring in the Jadoon. We did it first.
That
not
is
clickbait.
a lot like the master's plan.
Yeah, the master reveal from our episode and Chibnall's Spyfall. He copied us. I'm filing a lawsuit.
It's actually so weird because I can actually vouch for Joe. Like, he writes the scripts like half a year in advance, and for some reason, before we always post it, the real Doctor Who posts like almost the exact same sort of episode.
Yeah, because
so
we'd be
weird.
halfway through filming the special, like, big episode now if we hadn't had lockdown, etc. Because as Artie and Ben can say, we were literally going to film one of the big scenes from the middle of the episode 2 days before lockdown.
Literally, I think it was, it was like Joe said, it was like 2 days before lockdown, a day before lockdown. We'd literally set up a WhatsApp group and everything. And we were literally arranging the finite details of where we were going to meet, like what we kind of needed to wear and everything, scripts and all that. And we were literally discussing all that. And then obviously lockdown hit and we weren't able to.
Yeah, typical Boris. Okay, so Ben, I'm going to kind of flip a question back onto you and Alistair in a way. What are your two favourite memories of filming the Sontarans master plan?
Well, I mean, there's two.
I know where this is going.
There's two obvious ones that stick out for me. My favourite I'm going to leave till last. My first favourite memory was you can actually see it in the fan film, but just kind of partway through the film, I like my costume switches. Under the coat I was wearing, I had a Nike hoodie on, and halfway through the episode, it just switches to me wearing a suit. And basically, because we couldn't film it all on one day, and we had to film one of the episodes after sixth form. So I just randomly switched from like really casual to smart. And basically where I was going with this was we had to film the bit after school on top of a car park. And I just remember it being really awkward because the amount of times we had to like stop and then start and then stop and then start because people just kept walking through and getting in their cars.
There's more public filming coming up for the next episode. So
yes. Second one, and Joe, I think you know where I'm going.
Yeah.
Is for part of it, basically, we had to do some green screen filming.
Oh, is this in the back garden?
Oh,
God.
Garden.
Oh, yeah.
First of all, we had who?
It was me.
It was you.
Yeah,
Alistair.
it was me and
It was
who was
Liam.
It? Yeah, Liam.
Alistair and Liam trying to hold this green screen up that just kept blowing everywhere. So it took us so many takes to do. And then just the best part about it all was basically Joe told me I had to do this like evil laugh for part of my character. And I did the worst like witch feminine cackle ever. And it was that bad that I think Sam, who was inside, actually came out and was like, "Are you all okay?"
Yeah, it was. Right, you can. We'll play the clip now. It was genuinely phenomenal.
My favourite bit.
Acting perfection.
My favourite bit was, remember when we were in the field and I came about and then the reinforcements of Torchwood came, and it took 5 takes for them to pretend to smack me in the head with the gun. And
yeah, they kept missing every time.
Newton ended up actually smacking me in the head full on with this plastic Nerf gun. We just started both.
We got the take. That's all. And
it was carnage. It was utter carnage.
It was absolute quality. Anyway, yeah, moving on with the podcast.
I've got to say, like, some viewers may not appreciate, but like Joe does so much. Like, you don't even realise how much he does behind the scenes. Like, it's all good and well picking up a camera and filming something and just coming up with it as you go along. But Joe, like, he plans it all in advance. I do give it to him.
Thank you.
He does a really good job.
I hope one day that this can genuinely become like a proper career, because I'm not going to specify how much money I make from the YouTube channel because it's none of your business. It's already starting to like bring in money, and in an ideal world, we'd get to the point where it would be the dream from when we were in primary school, where we'd always used to say we could run YouTube channels or podcasts and have it as an actual job. And that would be like in an ideal world.
If you made it, your channel just constantly gets better in quality.
Thank you. That's probably the nicest thing you've ever said to me, Artie.
There's the clickbait title. Right.
Yeah.
Joe, you were talking to me earlier about your like first big video. And you were telling me how it got 2,400 views overnight. So I was just kind of intrigued into kind of what went into the making of that video. So was it anything particularly special that you did? So like while you were making it, did you think that it was going to do well, or was it just kind of the same thing that you'd always done?
Yeah, so it was basically a one-off video, and as Alistair was talking about earlier, I seem to have a habit of predicting what's coming up in Doctor Who and writing it, because I had written a theory that by the end of Series 10, we would see David Bradley come back to play the First Doctor and stop 12 from regenerating, and then they'd have Christmas special with Mondasi and Cybermen for that year. And it just so happened that literally everything I said in that video, and I even recreated it with little like green screen elements and figures and stuff, everything I said happened to be 100% true. And I was sat there watching the episode of Doctor Who, David Bradley shows up, I went mental, looked at my phone, it was notification after notification, and when I woke up in the morning, it had reached 2,400 views in about like 24 hours, which was genuinely like the feeling of, because my videos at that point were hitting like 40 views per video, and overnight it just went to that, and like that's still one of the happiest YouTube memories I hold on to.
Like, I've got to say, like, in a way, I know this sounds weird, but you are almost like my idol, because I have a really, really I have a really, really small YouTube channel, right? And I've only just recently started, and I could put a lot more effort in.
You can plug it. Lego Explosions, link in the description.
And I do want it to get, like, I know it will never get as big as you, but I'd like it to get to, I don't know, 500 subscribers. I would love, and it's something
I'm sure,
would
Alistair,
really like.
it will. If you keep going, not to sound like some sort of poor motivational speaker, but if you genuinely just keep going at it, eventually you will like go up in subscribers. Because funnily enough, I only hit 1K about in March. It was mid-March that I hit 1K.
Do you think the fact that you've got more subscribers like makes it you'll now just get on this rolling ball and you'll just keep on like growing and growing?
Hopefully, in an ideal world, I'd love that to happen, but we don't know.
Because
hopefully.
I know you've been doing this for a very, very long time. Like 3K, like in a flash. Well, you've got 2,000 followers really, really fast. In my view, like I watch other YouTubers who are only on like 1K, but they've been on 1K for about 3 years now, and they can't like move from there. Do you think that's like do you think that'll happen to you, or do you think?
I think there's going to be a stopping point, because when you look, like there's only so many Doctor Who fans in the world, and my channel at the moment is very Doctor Who centric. And once I reach the stopping point, which I have no idea when that will be, but once that stopping point is reached, then yeah, I would like to expand out in making other content. But for the moment, I'm happy doing Doctor Who stuff, so I'll stay doing that until I feel the urge to do something else.
Speaking of like how fast your channel's grown, lockdown must have done wonders for you because like
Yeah.
you've been able to just pump out videos constantly on YouTube because they have nothing to do.
Yeah, it's been great.
So, kind of going into my final couple of questions now, then, Joe. So, really, just kind of looking to the future now. Have you got any goals and plans for the channel?
Well, I'd like the fan series to become bigger than it already is, because the videos do get quite a few views, and I think with the bigger subscriber base, I want to hype up this next fan film, because I genuinely think it's going to be something like almost unforgettable, because the plot weaves together all the other things from fan films, etc. Yet it's still its own individual story, and it's a story that I really want to tell and have wanted to tell for a long time. So in an ideal world, if the fan series could take off and reach other like Doctor Who 2012's fan series and Vote Saxon and all these things, I'd love to be known as not just a Doctor Who theory person, but as a fan filmmaker.
Yeah, no, of course. And for my final question, really, and I think this one is something that, you know, a lot of the fans will want to know, and a lot of the fans will be asking for. And that is Artie going to be permanently removed?
Yeah. yes.
Yeah,
We're gonna get a more
comment
funny
if you.
person. Who? Oh, there's a
This
lot
is
more people.
the biggie.
As soon as we get funding, that's what we're gonna put it towards.
What are you putting it towards? I had to
We can't even have him as a camera.
We're gonna replace Artie with Ricky Gervais.
Yeah,
That's actually a perfect person to replace him with.
So,
But
legitimately now, for my final question, Joe, and this one probably is legitimately something that a lot of people would like to know. And I know it's kind of the question that, you know, a lot of people or a lot of YouTubers get asked in like these kind of situations. But if there are people out there like Alistair who are setting up their own channels or trying to do something similar in terms of even like fan films and theory, like what you do, what advice would you give to people who are kind of looking just to kind of, whether it's for, you know, they want it to go on to other places or whether they're just doing it for fun, what advice would you give?
Yeah, so one of the things when you create a video, you always want it, because you've poured like hours of work into it, you want it to do big, you need a really good title, and you want it to almost verge on the edge of clickbait, but it can't be clickbait. It needs people intrigued, they need to see the thumbnail and go, wow. So as soon as they click on the video, they then are hit with like an actually good and interesting video, because you can't promise them something in the thumbnail, they click on the video and then it's just rubbish, low quality, and you don't mention what's in the thumbnail. You have to have like quality thumbnails, quality title, premiere them, I'd say, release them at good times, make sure people know that videos are coming out, do it on topics that people enjoy, and yeah, you should be well away in no time.
Cool. Right, well that's me done. So I don't know if you want to do the outro, Joe.
So massive thank you to you guys for joining us on
welcome.
this thing, and thank you for Ben being a great host. You are definitely going to be a radio presenter one day. But yeah. So, on to the giveaway and outro sort of thing. So, here in my hand I have 3 of the Doctor Who fan series books. I've currently printed 5, I'll put those 2 aside, and that was almost a rhyme. But I'm going to be giving one of you, as a big thank you for all the support I've had over the years, one of these books for free. As, yeah, a basic competition. The winner will be completely selected at random. What you need to do to enter the competition, go over to the Pluto is a Planet podcast YouTube channel, subscribe, and comment on our latest video who your favourite Doctor and companions are, or a Doctor Who fact or trivia that you think is interesting. We will just pick one of the comments at random. Make sure you let us know that you have subscribed and that you make sure we see your comment. Also, you need to be subscribed to the Confused Adipose channel, because that is kind of the point in the giveaway. I want to say thank you to the subscribers. So subscribe to the Confused Adipose, subscribe to Pluto is a Planet podcast, and comment in the latest video on the Pluto is a Planet podcast your favourite Doctor or a bit of trivia. Yeah, I hope that makes sense. Also, if any of you would be interested in purchasing these, let me know in the comments, because I feel like I might begin to sell them. They'd retail for about £17 because of postage, and they're relatively expensive to print because they've got like really nice pages, etc. Fun facts, trivia. If you like the channel, you'll love the book, so let me know if you'd be willing to purchase one of these books. Anyway, that truly does bring us to the end of today's video. If you did enjoy, remember to like, comment, subscribe. You know the drill. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Don't forget your chance to win this epically free book.
Don't forget to click below.
Subscribe to the Confused Adipose.